Some of the rookies are going to get a start up the front here, including Scott Hookey and Emma Clark, who makes a debut this weekend. Reece Chapman and Lars Prokopec on the second row. Ruth Bowler and Maddie Lynch. Paul Faber, Scott O'Keefe. On the fourth row, Brad Eastman and Michael Rinken, Grant Thompson and Lee Boland. And then there's a gap between the next group of cars with Scott Stevenson, Scott O'Keefe, back to McNamara and Wilcox, Zach Best, just 14 years of age, and Chris Stevenson, then Jeff Waters, Sam Milton, Adam Cosuccio is back in 23rd, Harley Haber, Brendan Tucker, and Karen Pridmore. Then the big guys towards the back, including karting star David Sultana, Grant Ludby, down to Trent Young, again the same spring issue as yesterday, and Kel Tressler joins him on that row, Adam Ubergang, Ben Walsh, and right down to the guys who won the race yesterday.
Look, Trent Young has had some really bad luck this weekend, as you said, same spring issue yesterday, but like what a cracking drive yesterday. From back of the grid, 30 places in 4 laps, and then had that same spring issue. But today's going to be much tougher because those fast guys that he started racing with in race 1, he's going to be straight onto those guys right from the very start. So I don't think he's going to make 30 places in 4 laps. If he does, it's going to be an awesome effort. But with this staggered grid format, it's really going to make for some exciting racing.
This is very unique to this championship as well. We see it at all the rounds in race number 3. And for the likes of Emma Clark, debut in the category, you don't want to look backwards right now.
No, look, for these people starting on the front row, they haven't sort of seen this view from the start of the other 2 races. But for them, it's going to be important. Get a clean start and try not to sort of dice each other up too much. It's going to be important that as a pack, they need to work together to try and sort of get away from the guys that are going to be coming from down the back of the field. Obviously, the more experienced, the faster guys. But this front pack, it's going to be important. This opening lap, don't do anything silly. They need to get away.
The wildlife settling in for a big day down here. Not sure that Magpie is going to last too long up there once the race gets underway. You've had experience around here, had some success too over the years. It's a tough circuit, isn't it?
Look, it really is. It's a very brutal circuit in terms of both physically on the body and on the vehicles, and we've seen that. Obviously, Trent Young's been a victim of that so far in the first couple of races, but it's a great circuit though. It's got such good atmosphere. You can really feel the crowd around you, and it's one of those rewarding circuits. When you get it right, it's a great place to race.
We were called 1 lap short yesterday, and that really ruined Craig Wood's effort. The team started with low tyre pressures yesterday, hoping to get good race pace towards the end. Now, what's the advantage of starting with low tyre pressures?
Well, look, we saw here yesterday, obviously the ambient temperature was very high. It was a midday race, so track temperature's quite high. So you're trying to sort of stagger your tyre pressures to come in late on the race, and that's what they were trying to look for.
Let's hope we get the full 8 laps in today as the first set of cars get set to leave with Hookey and Clark. They get going, and what must it feel like for the guys sitting back there going, the field's going away from us, we want to chase them. You've got to talk yourself out of that as this group lead down. Look at the dirt and dust on the inside from the service vehicles overnight. Group 2 now take off with Stevenson in that beautiful Hertz Rent-A-Car gold and black livery.
These guys down the back of the field, the third group waiting to take off. It's going to feel like an eternity sitting down there.
And there they go, starting around the hairpin, and the chase begins. So they're effectively 20 seconds already behind that group of cars, but don't be fooled, they'll be there before you know it.
Again, these guys down the back of the field, they don't need to be dicing each other up and carving each other up in these opening laps. They need to be able to sort of get onto the back of them. Small innocent little spin there, but that's not what you want to see in these early opening laps.
That was Scott Hookey. He's got a bit of time to get going and grab a gear here. As the second group of cars start to catch the first group. And down into all contact down there, almost into Hutt Street and onto Bartels Road. There's a bit of sun glare heading down Bartels Road with the rising sun this time of the day. As our leader, Lars Prokopec, comes down to turn number 9. Maddie Lynch second at the moment. Eastman in third, O'Keefe in fourth. And that's going to change by the second with the faster guys cutting their way through the field.
The hard thing for a lot of these guys that probably don't have the experience, you see they're 5 wide coming down there into turn 9. And miraculously everyone gets through, but these early races of a morning, you've got a lot of shadows and everything sort of casting over the circuit, and for these inexperienced people, it really changes your perspective of brake markers and turning in. That is not the place where you want to position your car on the exit of turn 9. Everyone's doing a great job so far of getting around there.
Such a blind approach, isn't it? He's right in the middle. He's off the racing line effectively, because out towards the curbs for that exit. The man from Musselbrook goes around. Now this should be the replay of Hookey unhooking himself down here at turn number 6.
And that's a classic case of opening lap, probably tyres not up to temperature, and a small spin, same as what we see there. Trying to get on the power too early on the exit of turn 9, and yeah, brings the rear end around.
And more cases, some of the guys at the front are probably a little bit too wound up, aren't they? A little bit too nervous on a day like this, knowing that they're up the pointy end of the field. That was Brad Eastman in all wrong at the top of the Adelaide hairpin.
for the fast guys down the back of the field, it's probably the first time in their life they'll be wanting to see a safety car so that it can try and sort of close the field up. But look, the people behind the series, they do a great job of putting these races on, and things like this kind of a race format, it makes it exciting for everyone. And look, when they used to do it in the Ute series, it was always good fun to be able to sort of charge your way through. It makes it more rewarding when you can sort of come from the back of the field and still get a result.
Without too much damage.
Without too much damage,
That's
exactly.
The name of the game on a street circuit. We jump on board with James Duckworth. Copped a 5-second penalty yesterday in race number 2. He's carving his way up the field. He's up to 30th place. Just 29 cars ahead of him. Nothing wrong with that. Easy.
Still got 6 laps to do it, no problem.
Trent Young made up 22 spots yesterday before he had his drama, so I wouldn't rule that out. Those guys are starting to eat their way inside the top 30. Lots of new names in Aussie racing cars this year. Lars Prokopec is one of them, who leads us. The gap 5 seconds already. There's a spinner coming out of the final turn, right in the middle of the circuit, sending the field scattering. What would you put that down to? Nerves?
Nerves and, again, slightly colder track temp than what we obviously had yesterday, and just too eager getting on the throttle coming out of it. It's a very slow speed corner, and it's a very low grip surface around here as well. The nature of any street circuit is that obviously it's used 364 days a year for road cars, so there's not as much grip as your more sort of established circuits.
That was poor Ruth Bowler that's damaged the number 9 car. She was so excited about coming back to Adelaide for her 7th appearance in Aussie racing cars, and has stopped just on the pit straight here. Oh, look at this. It's just going to get messy at the top as yesterday's winner, Brendan Pingle, further ahead, starts to make his way up from the back of the field. He's up to 26th position with Woods behind and Duckworth in 28th spot.
Trent Young's continued his hard charge from yesterday. He's up to 22nd, so he's already got past the leaders of yesterday, and he's on a charge again. He really wants to make amends for the weekend so far.
It's a replay of what happened at the top. Second of the Hertz rent-a-car entries down there. That was the spin happening by contact down here. Scotty O'Keefe, I should say. That is Casuccio, the 111 car. Contact with Ruth Bowler. You'll see in the background the shot, and
doesn't quite show what happened on the way in, but I'd probably say that someone's had a lunge under brakes there and hasn't quite made it stick.
So the yellows should be waving at this point. They are down there in the bottom of the shot. So the pass is happening. Now, how much vision do you see of that before you get to a corner?
Look, you've got good vision of all the flag marshal points around here, and at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to keep an eye out for it. The flag marshal point over there on the right-hand side, you do have very good vision of it. So obviously, it's the driver's responsibility to obey the flags and slow accordingly in situations of there being yellows out.
Well pointed out then as we came to the hairpinners. Down the inside of Kyle Clues goes Trent Young, hoping and praying that any of those gremlins in the spring package of this car are gone. Look at him slicing his way through the field. One through the inside, one on the outside on the run up the top here of Wakefield Street.
He's now up to P20. So as we said before, he started right off the very back of the grid. So he started behind the leaders from yesterday's race, and he's on an absolute charge.
Good to see. He's got plenty of time on his side. 5 to go. Back to the leaders we go. So the Thompsons putting on a bit of a clinic here now ahead of Stevenson. Harley Haber, the young fella with some great support from Sane Hoses and Fittings this weekend. And car 21 is 4th after that driveline failure. And here we go again with 3 wide, heading down to turn number 8. We don't see this in the big cars, but these guys, this is pretty normal.
It is for these guys, and you can see everyone tries to sort of get back into some kind of formation coming through there because it's such a fast corner. Whilst in these cars it is flat, it's one of those corners you've got to give it some kind of respect. Everyone now fans out down on the way into turn 9. 4-5 wide is not uncommon in these guys.
Look at Pingle. He got up on the curb, then made up 1 or 2 positions. Clues got damage to the Darrell Lee Sticks entry. Back on board with Duckworth. Look how busy it is. Just sliced his way. This is great stuff. He's up to 25th. Young is up to 18th spot. Got the feeling we're going to have a one-lap screamer on our hands here. These guys will be up to the top 10 before you know it. These beautiful high-revving engines, 11,000 RPM. Motorcycle gearbox, you pluck the gears, you push back to go back gears. The run up to Wakefield Street with the leaders, and it's starting to compress. Stevenson still in third. Sam Melton, the local South Australian, running in 5th position now. Rockerpeck is 6th, then Tucker, Pridmore, Lee Bowler, and now Ludby up to 10th.
This gaggle of cars coming up here in turn 4, you just know something's going to happen.
From a mile away.
Yeah.
But so far, they're just rubbing, they're bumping into each other. There's no stitch-ups happening at the moment, nor do we want to see them. Everyone's just trying to get to the front with minimal damage.
It's great to see the attitude of these cars over the bumps and ripple strips around here at the Clipsal 500. It's look, I know what it's like in a V8 supercar or in a Carrera Cup car, how hard the bumps are, but in such a small car, you can see these cars react quite violently, and these guys do such a great job of keeping them under control.
Duckworth up to 17th now, going past the 14-year-old Zach Best. Yellow flag, so that's going to wipe out a passing chance in. Look at the guys. Have they noticed this? They start to slide back into positions.
There'll be, I think there's going to be a few people wanting to sort of make some complaints after that one. Again, it is a little bit hard coming down there into turn 9 because everyone's fanning out, and again, but you've still got the responsibility to look out for those yellow flags. It'll be for that debris from Kyle Kluge's car that he dropped. It looks like one of the cars moved it across anyway. Back to the leaders, 4 cars scrap now as they come past to finish off the next lap. We work lap 6 of 8. Now we start to head to Flavour Country. The Thompsons from Stevenson, Harley Haber in 4th. That's the group you're watching now, heading out of the permanent circuit, out into Wakefield Street, and that's Miles Bond, the Tonsley Smash Repairs entry, facing the flag point. Word from race control, it's the final lap. So again, going to miss the end here by a couple of laps, and it's go time. It's going to disadvantage the guys that have come from the back of the field, though. It certainly is. Those guys are banking on being able to get through the whole race because they need to be able to sort of get as many laps under their belt to sort of climb their way forward. But still, on the overall, they're going to be positioned well for the final race tomorrow. So Grant Thompson's got a small margin here now. When I say small, it's 2 car lengths. That's massive for these guys anyway. Down into the sweeper, but Stevenson has got ahead in the shot here. Who's going to blink down? Harley Haber. Very impressive for the young fella after not even getting past the start on Thursday. Is looking at a top 3 position here. I think he's probably happy to be in 3rd, but he's definitely got his eyes on 2nd place there. He's going to be trying to line himself up for a run through here. You can see Thompson's gone in tight. It's going to affect his run out. This is going to improve important on the run down to the last corner. Haber's going to be looking for that run, all-important run down the inside here. But not quite close enough. Up to the final turn. The Hertz number 88 is going to pick up the win here in race number 3, the handicap race in the Aussie racing cars on the streets of Adelaide. Does it by a couple of car lengths. Thompson will be 2nd. Harley Haber will get 3rd. What a drive as the rest of the field coming through. Trent Young from the back will finish 7th. What a drive. That is a huge drive by him. We saw him do it yesterday, but for him, most important, he got to the finish today, so he'll be ecstatic. Great drive. Behind them, Ludby, Adam Ubergang got to 9th spot in the end. Pingle to 10th from the back of the field. James Duckworth was 12th. Then the Curl Tressler, who started from the back of the field, as well as this Kyle Kluge on the curb. No, this is another replay going in to turn 1, the centre chicane. That is not the ideal line to take through turn 1 and 2 there. It's Matty Lynch that started up the front. That would be scary in one of these cars going through the centre chicane, knowing how big those curbs are. Well, it's not only scary for him, but there's guys behind. You turn in there, you're on your normal line, you're right on the limit of adhesion, and all of a sudden the car in front's out of control. It's another blind approach. Oh, look at the rattler gave him inside the car. The Western Sydney Motorsport entries glancing to the wall down here. Yeah, looks like he clipped the curb or the guardrail on the way in, which is what's fired him into that outside wall. Very lucky to get away with that one. It always serves up a different result, and today was no surprise either. Chris Stevenson from Grant Thompson, Harley Haber, top job, 3rd place for him. Craig Thompson, Sam Melton will be pumped with his 5th result. Brendan Tucker, Trent Young from the back of the field to 7th. Over the page to Woods in 11th. Sultana 13th, down to Blake Scaberis in 17th. Zach Best and Adam Casuccio.